Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sideline Sato YouTube channel. This week we're going to be looking at the third round of Premier League fixtures, and I'm going to be making my guess as to the exact results, the scorers, and just exactly how the games are going to play out. And if you've seen any of my older videos, you'll be able to tell that I am quite the psychic. All these predictions always come true. I've never gotten one wrong. I swear on it. And if you're interested in the content on the channel, if you like what you see, there's only going to be more cameras on the way. We're going to have quite the set up for everybody. And quite honestly, I couldn't be more excited to unveil it to you guys. But like all good things, it takes time, it takes some patience, and I think it'll be well worth the wait. But no more dilly-dallying. If you enjoy the video, give it a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Do what you will to help promote, because every bit of support does count and it really means the world to me. But anyways, I know what you're here for. Let's get into the games. Leeds 1, Chelsea 2. So we're going to have quite the matchup here. You have the wannabe American club in the form of Leeds, mini Red Bull Leeds, I guess, with all the recruitment that Jesse Marsch has been doing. Some American players there as well. And then newly American-owned Chelsea under Todd Boehly, with the LeBron James of football. Yes, Christian Pulisic on their team.
This guy's like the phenom guy, right? He's like the LeBron James of soccer.
Definitely.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think my brain just committed suicide.
See players like Tyler Adams and Mark Roca prove why they were bought by Leeds and prove that they truly are Premier League caliber players. But at the end, I think Chelsea's going to have the edge. Goals from Mason Mount and a penalty from Jorginho. We'll see Chelsea have a 2-1 win. As for Leeds, I see Rodrigo getting on the score sheet once again, taking his goal tally up to 4 by the end of the match week. But all in all, 2-1 to Chelsea against Leeds. West Ham 1, Brighton 0. I think West Ham at home is going to be really dominant, but I don't think they're necessarily going to have the most convincing win. I think that the game will mostly consist of Brighton trying to press past West Ham, but ultimately not having any sort of real constructive chances, maybe getting 4 shots on target, maybe not even 4 shots on target, 4 shots in total even. I think West Ham will just kind of shrink them out during this game, and I think we'll see a goal from Maxwell Cornet for his first ever West Ham goal. And I think ultimately it's going to be kind of a bland game, but I think West Ham fans will walk away from this happy, and I think Brighton will put in a performance that most Brighton fans will feel maybe we could have scored a goal, or we probably shouldn't have conceded that goal, and feel like they at least deserved 1 point going out of this. But all in all, West Ham 1, Brighton 0. Everton 0, Nottingham Forest 0. I think that Steve Cooper's men traveling to Goodison Park aren't going to necessarily make the best of impressions, but they will walk away with a point. I think as of right now, Everton lacks the real firepower to really compete with most teams as is. But on top of that, I don't think that Nottingham Forest has quite the quality to fully kick on and start winning these type of games that they need to win if they're going to have to stay in the Prem. I think that despite the fact that they've been absolutely furious and just crazy in terms of their spending in the market, Nottingham Forest, even if all those players are fit and match ready, they're not going to be fully integrated, they're not going to gel. So ultimately, I think we're going to see some struggles from Nottingham Forest to remain consistently offensive and to keep the flow of the game in their hands, but I don't think Everton's going to make the most of it. Anthony Gordon might score, or he's going to get close at least a couple of times, but I don't see anybody getting in the back of the net for Everton or Nottingham Forest. So 0-0, boring game. Tottenham 3, Wolves 0. So I think overall Tottenham is going to absolutely dominate at home. They're going to generate chance after chance, and I just don't think that Wolves are going to be cut out to deal with Tottenham at home. I think they're not really going to look all that threatening. Maybe Pedro Neto does some cool skills again, but I don't think they're going to have the end product to even get a goal on the score sheet. I think that we'll see goals from Dejan Kulusevski, we'll see a goal from Son, and maybe a goal from somebody like a random midfielder, let's say Yves Bissouma. I don't even know if Bissouma is fully match fit as of right now, but that's how confident I am of this Tottenham win. They're just going to absolutely shred Wolves, and Wolves really won't look like they stand a chance. I know they did just sign Mateus Nunes from Sporting, but ultimately we don't know where he stands in terms of fitness. And even if he is fully fit, there is always that kind of transitionary period where a player has to adapt to the standards and the kind of pace that the Premier League's played in, especially when they're playing in a league like Portugal, where you can play in the Champions League and you can play against some of the biggest clubs in the world on the European stage, but that is like so few and far between compared to the week in, week out, 38 weeks in the Premier League. So I think Tottenham are going to have a very convincing win at home, 3-0 against Wolves. Newcastle 2, City 4. Yeah, I think City's going to have another weekend of pure and utter domination. I think they're going to, quite frankly, obliterate Newcastle at St. James Park. Sorry, Newcastle fans, but it's the truth. City looks to be in a really rare form as of right now. All their players are clicking, and even Haaland, who only got 8 touches last week, contributed with an assist in the 4-0 win against Bournemouth. So I don't see a reason as to why anything other than a City win is going to happen this weekend. I think we'll see a goal from Joao Cancelo. We'll see Foden score a goal. And you know what? Let's say Haaland scores a brace. But for Newcastle, I think we'll see a goal from Bruno Gomes and a goal from, let's say, Alan St. Maximin this week. Newcastle will show all the fight in the world, but it just won't be enough fight to contend with a City team that is just playing the way that they're playing right now, and quite frankly, arguably the best team in the world at the moment. So yeah, City 4, Newcastle 2. Crystal Palace 1, Aston Villa 1. So Crystal Palace hosts Aston Villa at Selhurst Park, and I think it will be a stalemate. I think that we'll see a goal from, let's say, Leon Bailey for Aston Villa, and somebody like, I don't know, Eberechi Eze for Crystal Palace. I think this game will be lively. I think both sides are going to really go for it, but I think all in all, there's not going to be too much to separate them. I think it'll be a decently entertaining game, but I don't know if I'm going to, keep an eye out fully to watch it. If I'm around and it's on, I'll throw it on for sure. But I don't think this is going to be one of those games that's going to live too long in our memory. I think it'll be generally boring, and by the time the full 90 is over, I think most people will more or less forget the grander events that happen in the game. So yeah, I don't think much will separate them. I think they'll draw 1-1 at Selhurst Park. Yep. Leicester 2, Southampton 1. We're getting the clash of two of football's greatest tactical minds. I mean, let's be honest here. There really isn't anything that screams absolute footballing savant than Brendan Rodgers versus Ralph Hasenhüttl. I mean, come on, doesn't that just make your mouth water? It's gonna be a clash for the ages. Not really. I think it'll be a kind of okay game. Nothing to write home about. I think Leicester will win 2-1 against Southampton at the King Power. I think we'll see a goal from Patson Daka and a goal from, let's say, James Maddison. And then for Southampton, I think Bella Kotchap will maybe score a header. Somebody will score a header for them. I could just feel it. It's going to be whipped in by James Ward-Prowse and just not dealt with by whoever Leicester decides to field in their goal, considering that they sold Schmeichel for pennies, relatively. I mean, they sold him for $1 million, but they could have sold him for like 10 maybe. So yeah, I think that game will be a 2-1 victory for Leicester to start, maybe some good luck for them going forward. Ultimately, I think Leicester will have the edge on them and they'll win 2-1. Fulham 1, Brentford 2. Yeah, I'm predicting for Brentford to pull up the upset at Craven Cottage. I know most Fulham fans are fully expecting them to win or at least draw against Brentford, but Brentford is on absolute hot form, and coming off of that 4-0 demolition at home against United, I fully expect them to have full confidence going into this game. I think they're going to be raving to go. I think they're going to be raring to go. And I think that ultimately Fulham just won't have enough quality to see it out. I think we'll see Mitrovic score for Fulham again after missing the penalty last week. And for Brentford, I'm going to say Brian Mbeumo and Ivan Toney bag goals to get them the 2-1 win and continuing their absolutely electric start to the Premier League season. Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 3. So Bournemouth is hosting Mikel Arteta's Mikel Arteta's Arsenal at the Vitality. Yes, Arsenal's been literally looking like a miniature Man City, and I know they've only signed Gabi Jesus and Zinchenko, but they really fit in with the rest of the squad. It's quite the harmony, and I don't think that many people, Arsenal fans included, expected them to be flying just like this. They're free scoring. They look pretty solid defensively, shakier than in the offensive build-up, but I do think that they're good enough defensively to see through a win here. It should be a standard, very comfortable win for Arsenal. We'll see somebody like Kiefer Moore score a goal for Bournemouth, but we'll see Arsenal take the lead before doubling the lead to 2-0 before Bournemouth scores a goal. I think for Arsenal, the goal scorers will be, we'll say Odegaard, Saka, and Martinelli will all score for Arsenal. Manchester United 1, Liverpool 2. Yes, despite a rocky start for Liverpool at the start of the season, I still think they're going to get the away win at Old Trafford. And this game is an interesting derby because ultimately, both sides are more or less struggling. We have Liverpool, who hasn't necessarily performed expectations, and Man United, who's had more of the same from last season, which was not performing the expectations. So it'll be interesting to see. I think United will score. Liverpool has been very kind of like loose at the back this season, and towards the latter half of last season, we weren't necessarily the sharpest defensively. But I think with everything that's going on, I know Casemiro is set to sign and join Man United, but we're probably going to see him at Old Trafford in the stands, watching the team. He might not even have a training session, like a full training session, a proper one, before the game. So I don't think that Erik ten Hag's going to rush it or risk anything of that matter. But who am I to say? Maybe he does start, which would be kind of crazy and maybe even change the way that this game ends up. But as it stands right now, I think Ronaldo will score against Liverpool. It'll either be a penalty or a header over Trent, most likely. And then for Liverpool, I see Salah scoring, and I see a goal from Luis Diaz as well to make it 2-1 for Liverpool at the end of the derby. Additionally, this game is lamented by some interesting kind of parallels and differences. You have United fans who are set to walk out of the game and, protest it because of the ownership of the Glazers, and I think that they are in the total right to do this. Any football team and their supporters, any supporters groups that have issues with their own football teams, I believe have the full right to voice those concerns in a very constructive manner. And if they do empty out Old Trafford and are protesting the Glazers, then I think more power to them. The fans deserve the power, they deserve the respect of the ownership, and if the fans are calling for them to sell, I think they should highly consider it. Meanwhile, at Liverpool, yesterday it was announced that they've officially codified this new Liverpool supporters board of 16 fans who are hyper connected within the community and have a lot of knowledge, not just with the club, but the club's surroundings and the city of Liverpool as well. So I think that's kind of interesting, and we'll see what materializes from that. It could just be performative and, just like a gesture, but ultimately I think that's a step in the right direction. Ultimately, for football as a whole, I think fans deserve a bigger voice, and I'm hoping to see more examples from both these clubs. In United's case, I hope that they do listen to the fans and sell, just because I think the Glazers are kind of poisoning the whole well of football transfers in the world of football in general, just the general attitudes of it. And in Liverpool's case, if the supporters board does have some actually positive changes then that'll be really beneficial in the long run. Maybe not just for the men's team, but you could grow out stuff for the women's team, the youth academy setups, etc., and grow the brand not just commercially through one sort of avenue, but have all these other facets that can kind of, self-sustain themselves. But ultimately, I think this fixture will be quite enthralling. I mean, Manchester United and Liverpool is a classic game, and quite often you don't get disappointed by this fixture. So I think Liverpool will just slightly edge out Manchester United, not convincingly at all. We'll win 2-1 at Old Trafford, but I think it will be a totally bananas weekend of fixtures. I think there's going to be some great goals. We're seeing that refs are letting play go on more. They almost want a more aggressive and physical game from what I've been seeing. So I'm really excited to see these fixtures. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate your time and your support. And as always, I'm Sideline Sato. Stay gold.